everybody that's here under my voice. We want to present our next presenter for the evening, and in celebration of men is our title for today. And we're going to introduce one of my work associates, one of my sons, when I first met Jay Pearson, and when I first met Jay, I said, now this is one of the smartest young men, and we've got a lot of smart young men that comes in and out of this building. But Jay is I consider, one of the most intelligent, honorable young men that I know, right along with the rest of my sons. And they are that also. So, but Jay has stuck in here with me for the last 6 or 7 years. He is the engineer for the Jefferson Street Sound Museum. And I think a lot of this young man, and I feel like he's going to help the museum go a long ways. We're just beginning to catch on here in the city as far as the museum is concerned. We're just grabbing hold of the hearts and souls of the people here at in Nashville. So we've been here for a while, but we've not really been recognized, and we're beginning to be recognized now by not only black folk, but all other races of folk, because we have everybody coming in here now. People from all over the country, not just the city, but we've had folk in here from at least 4 or 5 different cities today already. But Jay Pearson, Jarrell Pearson, we call him Jay. That's when you hear me say Jay so much. That's who we are, Lorenzo and Jay. But Jay is, like I say, it's like one of my sons. And he has some information for us that he wants to share and that he is going to share. And I am proud to be a part of his life, the kids' life, and his whole family, his wife. And we are all one big family, big happy family around here. And I'm not usually the one that's up here at the podium, but I've got this duty today to introduce some of the panelists for this event. But it's not easy to say what I feel about this next young man that's coming up here, and that is Jay Pearson.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
Happy Saturday.
Yes.
I made sure I was here.
Yes.
So, one, I just want to say thank you to Lorenzo. That was the best introduction I've ever had in my entire life. I usually don't get introductions. I'm usually doing the sound thing. I'm in the background and making sure the introduction is heard. So it's amazing to be heard. And real quick, sorry. That was amazing. So one, I want to thank God for being here, because a lot of times there are people in our lives that can disappear at a blink of an eye, right? No matter how close they are to you, how long you've known them, or how short of a time you've known them, things change, and that's starting to happen as you get older in age. You start to, all your friends, they have a time. There's an expiration date. So with mine, I want to make an impact, and the way I do that is real simple. is just make things available. You build it, it'll come. And I know that here, a lot of things are being destroyed so that they don't. So I want to help. So let me talk to y'all a little bit about who I am and maybe how you all can help with your own community. Because I'm what you call like a suitcaser or a carpetbagger coming from the Northeast, came to the South and started doing some stuff. But yeah, my name's Jay. I'm from Jersey originally and lived in New York. I was raised by a music industry mogul. His name's Rodney Pearson, did a lot of production and promotion. He helped the Fugees get started, was the reason Biggie Smalls even came to a record label. And I got to see a lot of things as a 5-year-old that you probably shouldn't have in the industry, but also a lot of things that let me know what not to do when I get involved myself. So I started in high school and went on the way. And I also, and I love my wife, and we're just really excited to continue to spread that. And I really think I could be a dad because I already teach 1,000 kids in the city. All right, so yeah, so got out of high school, went to college. I started this thing called Word Up, and it was a community collective of individuals getting together in front of the public library at MTSU. So in front of that library is this big circle. They say never cross it or you'll stay. And it's true, because I tried to leave at least 30 times, and it doesn't work. But we have drum players, cellists, instrumentalists, singers, all in one spot, and of all races. And we got up to about 300 members, to where the president of the entire school had to recognize what we were doing. And then they built more buildings on campus for expression. And this was a great way for me to see that what I was doing was worthwhile. It didn't happen while I was on campus, of course, right? You do all these amazing things, and they're like, y'all are cool. And then you leave, they're like, you come back and do that thing. And so that was my first wake-up call to being in the South, seeing that there are a lot of things that aren't here right now. There are a lot of great people with no access. And it seems like that's a consistent battle, and we need to end that. So after college, started doing more production and teaching throughout the city with an organization called Southern Word. And with them, I was able to help get Procon Entertainment Magnets studio designed and built. Also a studio for teenagers at the downtown library on the 3rd floor. So if you have teens that want to learn how to do production, there's free resources. And then my favorite, of course, is here at Jefferson Street, being able to help redesign that studio upstairs and have programming every summer for kids to get paid to produce and get some professional development, like their headshot, their bio done, things that are super necessary. I've had a few successes myself that I'm only going to say just to give kind of awareness to what happened to me. I was making music for a lot of people, doing recording sessions. It was cool, but it's just like pennies on the dollar because music is less valued over time. And some people say that's a bad thing. I think it's great. And the reason why is because it's supposed to be free. As far as a person being there to set up your sound system or something like that, that's different. But with music being free, there are a lot of people that do want to make money off of it. And I know that getting a famous artist on a song isn't the only way. I can do music here. You can do music for a parade. You can do a radio snippet. You can record your relatives. You can do projects where you have the greats from the town speak on what they've done. And I've had the pleasure of being able to do that, especially here at Jefferson Street. So, you know, as I started to do music and realized that I wasn't surviving, I had kids and the music was great, but it was tearing up what I had at home, right? Because not everybody's gonna understand the ebbs and flows of that industry. There are a few others like that. Restaurant businesses have that same thing, where it's like there are super great months depending on the holiday or what's going on, and then it's like, whoa, we had a rainstorm or a tornado, not happening. Same thing happened with the studio stuff. And when COVID hit, I knew that I couldn't record and I couldn't get involved, and I jumped in with this business in East Nashville called Center 615. That's co-working for musicians, etc. And started helping them manage that space and turn all of our stuff into an online training so that people can still have access and have someone to talk to. And that was the main thing for me. And it also let me know that you can make money off of TV and film. The thing that they show us on all the time, but we don't reap the benefits from. It's that secret pocket that I was able to find. And it is great to be able to teach the youth the same thing instead of them trying to do trap music all day or speak negatively. I can go really deep into that, but that would be a 3-hour conversation about the power of sound and how using negative words or negative influences behind you can literally destroy a community like that, right? People were really mad at Ray Charles at first when he did Georgia on My Mind and songs like that. They're like, you're going against gospel. Well, now look what we got. That's nothing, right? And now it's a literal battle. When I'm in the room with these kids and they are screaming over an artist that talks about killing them, literally. Like, you turn on a song, it's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, oh, that's a banger. I'm gonna keep that forever and listen to that every day. That's my favorite song. And I was in that world too. I loved it. The beats were good. I was forced to rock my head because my cavity is gonna vibrate whether I want it to or not. And so with that, let's just change the words. And so in light of everything, I've had a lot of great mentors. Karen and Lorenzo being them, my father, my mother, grandparents, etc. But the biggest thing I've noticed is from generation to generation is that music still speaks to the people. And I'm gonna keep honing in on that over and over again as I talk to y'all for a little bit. If you are upset and you start singing that one song, don't you forget about everything in that moment. Or if you go to a concert and you had no idea that your favorite artist, Luther Vandross, is about to show up. He's doing a special guest appearance out of nowhere. And then Michael Jackson walks on stage. And then James Brown. And then all these people. Just imagine what that would feel like for you, that joy, right? And with that joy, that's a joy you can't compare to anything else, but they end up being your mentors through life. And there's a lot of responsibility with being a musical leader. And I've learned that real fast, right? Just getting on whatever song, doing whatever song I want is not as important as doing the song that's needed for the community. So my big ask for everybody is if you have any youth in your family, believe in their music, tell them not what to say, because not everybody's gonna sing and rap for the church, right? But they can talk about things that are positive, and that can be accepted by all crowds. And I hope that as you all go out in your neighborhoods and do things like that, you get them involved in activities that are around. I do grant work. We've had this thing called National Music Boost for even adults after they get out of high school, learn production. There's all those outlets like Procon, there's the Downtown Library. Every library in Nashville now has production, and we're continuing to do that. And I'm working with the Urban League to build more production camps for kids, and it's gonna be amazing. Before I get to questions, I just wanna say that for me, the future of music is going to involve us less and less and less. As technology gets amazing and people can say a word and an entire song is built just like that, we're starting to lose our place in the world. So don't be afraid of the technology because it's going to be there whether you want it to or not. We already bit that apple. But if you can encourage that child that's getting into it earlier, right? Don't be mad if they curse. They won't curse anyway when you're not looking. Trust me, I see all your grandkids, all your nephews, your nieces, cousins. Just encourage them and teach them that the power of sound can destroy and heal. So, yeah. So, yeah, any questions out here? What's up?
I originally from New Jersey, and we know hip hop started in New York, city. Do when people up north still look down on people from the south, hip hop wise and stuff? Though?
Yes,
Why is that though?
but no, not at all, right? It's like, we know we started hip hop,
Yeah.
and we get it. But, and then, so then it's like, oh, but y'all forget about these rappers down here. It's like, well, they probably wouldn't have known about it without this. But now it's like Southern music is the best thing that has ever existed on the planet. It's just that it wasn't rap first, right? So rap is an interpretation of all these amazing artists that were down here. So don't get it twisted. It's we are in the best place in the world. I came down here because of that. Yeah.
That's where a lot of music originated in the South, though. Gospel, country, blues,
Everything.
you name it, yes.
Yeah, it's just hip hop was up there. You know, that's not to say that we weren't doing other amazing things. Like one of my relatives is Duke Ellington. So like, you know, there are a lot of amazing people everywhere. But once the genre switches, they try to say that, oh, this started here. No, it started from that dude's uncle that was telling him stop talking like that, you know, and then all of a sudden he changed his style. And yeah, it went with that.
And that's interesting because this month's the start of African American Music Month as well. One thing I learned years ago, I didn't know, but I didn't know that techno music was invented by African Americans up in Chicago, especially the LGBT community, along with techno being invented in Detroit, Michigan too. I didn't know we had part of that though. Hate to make it a racial thing, I thought it was white people and stuff that invented that, but I didn't know that we was involved in that too. So
Well, you know, that go-go music. Yeah, go-go music, and then also by us in the Northeast, we have Baltimore club music.
yeah.
And so it's all that upbeat stuff that was created, but we all know where it all started. You know, it was tribes with some simple drums made out of skin from some animal, right? And the drums were not used just to dance. They were used to literally heal the soul, and literally language in its own, 100%.
You can't forget about the dirty South.
You cannot
Dirty
forget about
South.
yourself at all. And that, again, that's why I was here. And like you're saying, yeah, they're gonna look down on it. And I only say that because being up north, first, I didn't know anything about the South. I thought it was bang, 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 and that was it, right? I came down here and realized the deeper the accent, the smarter they are. The more they know about real world, you know? The first place I went to that was super country was Lebanon, Tennessee, for the Wilson County Fair. And the guy who hired me, his name was Mike, and rest his soul, but he had the deepest accent. I was like, why am I here? Blah, blah, blah. But guess where I'm at now because of people like him. I wouldn't know anything about speakers and wires, etc., without having somebody from the South that actually really knew what it was and didn't call it a thing. They're like, grab that thing right there, plug it into this, and say, hey, go. Right? Like, oh wow, things are easier. Right? First day on the job, a bassist gets upset, throws his bass on the floor, bam. And Mikey goes to me, he says, go fix it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's his bass. He's got to deal with that. I was like, he goes, here's a soldering kit. I need you to go fix that right now. And to this day, that bass player calls me every year. And he goes, thank you for that. And I didn't know that he was a Grand Ole Opry player, right? And so being able to, now I run that stage at the fair. Who would know, right? And now those connections are something that happen consistently in this city. Is somebody knowing somebody and you being, now you're their new family. And it happens like that. Like, this is my family, and I'm never going to get rid of them. They can get rid of me because they're allowed to. They're elders, but you know, that's it. But yeah, any more questions for me or anything like that? All right.
What influence is AI going to have on the music industry?
It's already influencing it. AI is already taking over a lot of things. But if you talk to the people who are making the decisions right now, they don't want it. So if you talk to a major record label owner and you say, hey, here's a song with AI, go make money off of it, but we can't represent it, right? Now, when legalities are done, because for them to make AI, they have to mirror something. They have to get the input data from somewhere. And so someone's gonna sue somebody. And that's already happened. So there's already a battle for that. Yeah.
I'm not asking a question, I'm asking another one. I'm a natural native The only thing that really bothers me about Nashville is the music city, though. That's a nickname, but we always just get recognized for country music. But for hip hop, a lot of people have never really made it mainstream out of here beside like Young Buck, Starlito. And I just wonder what's the problem that other cities like Memphis, New Orleans, Miami, Houston always made it mainstream, but we never really got to shine and stuff.
I would say, I would actually disagree with that a little bit. So there are people who made it out of here, it's just a matter of what the worldwide media is gonna decide to shine, right? So it's not that they didn't get the accolades, but there are people like Lorenzo and Karen who are setting up things to start giving that recognition too. So there's a truth to it, right? That they did the amazing thing, but nobody knew. And that's the thing. It's not that they weren't as amazing. Like, I listen to Southern rap and everything in the North, so.
Some of that's because of hate and stuff, but some people be envious, especially your own city, right? Some of that can be a little bit envy and stuff, because we gotta go somewhere else to blow up.
Yeah, I usually say don't try to blow up in your own town. It usually doesn't make sense, because you're in a place where everybody's like you. So why are they gonna listen to themselves? It's kind of what I think about. So for me, my music works out here easily because I'm not from here, so anything I make sounds different.
It's like this whole little Boosie thing when he did that interview with Vlad back in 2016, the reason why he left Bad News moved to Atlanta, because he's talking about most rappers die in their own city because other people be envious and jealous, and people like Big L, many people got killed in their own city, a lot of people's envious stuff, we're gonna get famous and blow up too, so obviously you gotta get out your city to make it and stuff.
100%. I mean, most car accidents happen